This episode of the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast is proudly presented to you by limited edition fins. Shane, I've always wanted to know, what's the big difference between the original limited edition fins and the new Psylocke fins?
Benny, the Psylocke fins are bigger and wider than the original LE foot pockets. So basically when you try them on, they'll actually be a size up. Psylocke's fit really well in half sizes to the original fins. So I used to not be able to fit into the larges in the original LE fins, but I fit perfectly into the Psylocke large. So I just recommend everyone, if you weren't comfortable in the original LEs, go in and try on a new Psylocke's.
Awesome. Thanks, Shane. Back to you in the studio. Welcome back to the Closeout Bodyboarding podcast, your fitness and wellness journey into success in life. My name's Benny Oborn. I am one of your hosts. We really see ourselves as the sparkling Merlot of bodyboarding podcasts. Fizzy red wine that's been left out in the sun.
It's very delightful, Benny. Especially after just collecting dust on a shelf for 8 years before being cracked open on a classy Saturday afternoon.
It was like the wine that the Americans found after World War II in bunkers. It had just been there for such a long time.
Clag.
Clag.
It was for the more sophisticated person.
Joining me, as always, one of the most beautiful men I've ever laid eyes on, Shane Britton.
I work out.
Mate, you look sharp. I made a similar...
I'm glistening from my...
I made a similar comment to one of our recent hosts, Benny Wells, who's been on a health journey. And, mate, you've been the same. You look great.
I've tanned up.
Yep.
Have you been playing tennis too? No, that's not my thing. Just plenty of balls.
You're a ping pong kind of guy, aren't you?
I'm not that chick that, lifts up her tennis dress to scratching her ass.
But I tell you what, Shane, we are joined by a very, very special guest today. Someone that it's taken
Speaking
a long
of wellness journey.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to track this guy down. I mean, he's like the Pink Panther of podcast guests.
He's the sparkling Merlot.
He is.
He sussed me off.
It's the sparkling Merlot of bodyboarding, particularly here in Victoria. El Presidente, El Chica. Chris Watson.
Hey!
Welcome home, mate. Welcome home.
Well
Thank
done,
you,
gentlemen. Thank you. You did find me behind the bar looking for the sparkling Merlot in a robe, did you?
Mate, which prison did you break out of this time?
Guantanamo Bay. Bangkok Hilton. The 4 floors.
You're going to say the 4 floors?
Yeah, if you know, you know.
Lads, the year is 2025. We don't have flying cars just yet, but we're getting close. We're already almost at the end of the first quarter. I know we've still got a couple of potties to be released before we throw this one into the mix.
Speaking of which, Benny Wells is killing it.
I know.
Hashtag Carmen, I need this.
And also on that note, for everyone that's listening, we don't say this enough. If you guys are really enjoying what we're doing here, please please share, please subscribe. Obviously, we're not looking to make money off you guys. We just want you guys to...
We want to know when the new episode pops up.
Yep.
And if you subscribe, the new app will come up. Bang. We want to know when we've got to 3 listeners.
Yeah, thank you. That magic number.
Yeah.
3 listeners.
Because the 3 of us aren't listening. So.
It's so funny. I spoke to Wellesley today and, I said, you're stoked with how the potty turned out? And he goes, what? You actually want me to listen to it?
That's about right.
Yeah. But I tell you what, guys, let's just get stuck straight into it. Straight off the bat, Watto, you have been MIA, which is no surprise, and nothing's really changed. You are definitely not looking to slow down this year. You got started with a bit of a bang, mate. You went to Tahiti.
Yeah. How's that for a work trip?
That's a fucking perk if I've ever seen one.
How do you get that? What do you have to do?
Well, when you're responsible for...
Actually, I'm not sure.
Don't ask about this. Don't ask, don't tell.
Look, I'm involved with the power station there. They have our engines in the power station.
Right.
And so they're coming up for some
pretty major work. So I went over there, inspected the site and wrote a report on what they can do better and what's working.
How many pages were in this report?
52.
Yep. How much was written by ChatGDP?
We're banned from that.
Oh, yeah, fair call.
It's all box ticking. It was no writing anyway.
Yeah.
If you put pictures, that's 1,000 words, isn't it?
Picture a
He had
page.
12 monkeys sitting in a room typing, and that's where the report went.
Fucking secrets.
My wife's been watching me lately when I text, and you guys have probably picked up on this, when I'm too lazy to use my fat fingers, I use voice to text. And she's sitting there and she's like, who are you talking to now? Oh, you're just talking to the boys on the group chat. But no, it was a really cool place. I've never been to Tahiti before.
Do we surf? That's the main thing we all want to know.
No one really cares what you did for work.
Because you don't surf at home anymore, so did you surf?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I did. So I was really lucky to travel with a guy who's from Australia. And he said, when you come over, make sure you bring your board. I said, okay. Yep, not a problem.
Beautiful.
So I surfed a place on the north side of the island, this little wedge, and we sort of cruised around the whole island. We had Saturday and Sunday to sort of look around the place. On the Saturday, they're like, we're going to take you to Chopu, and I'm like, sick. That's somewhere I've always wanted to go. I'm really keen to have a look at it. And unfortunately, the surf was shit that day. It was like 6 to 8 foot onshore, just blowing a gale, like on that side of the island. But it was really cool to see where it was. Like, Chopu, end of the road, really is at the end of the road. They've got a fancy bridge now that they put through for the Olympics.
The Olympics, yep.
And then you walk out to the end, and it was just really cool to stand out at the end and have a look and sit there, and you've seen it all in pictures and stuff. And such a picture.
How far from the, I guess, land is, like, because obviously it's a huge passage.
I guess you see it in some things, but there's a big shipping channel, like right in the middle of it. And, yeah, you could paddle out, but like you'd have to dodge a bit of stuff there.
Yeah,
but
gotcha.
On the other side of that shipping channel, there was a right-hander, and it seemed to pick up more swell, and it just seemed like, I don't know what it's called, I don't know anything about it, but my God, it looked heavy. And we went in what essentially, I guess it's their wet season. So
the moist season.
Le moi moi. Well, it was French. And
why are you looking really off, Benny?
But I was there for 8 days, and it pissed rain for 7.5 days. So I was really happy. I was getting paid to be there. But I surfed this. We drove around the island, which doesn't take very long, and we got to the north side of the island and roll up in this car park, and I see like a bunch of like cars and guys with bodyboards. I'm like, oh yeah, it might be on here. And I look, and it's just this little wedge, like it would have been 2 to 3 foot, and it had some power behind it. It's like running along this reef. And first day I surfed it for 2 hours. It was just sick fun. Like you'd get so much speed, and you could hit it, and like had really big good bowl section on it. Second day I rolled up, surfed it for about an hour, then everyone disappeared, and I'm like,
there's a reason for that.
And then I'm like, oh, well, I've got fair game now. So I take off, and I'm like, holy shit, it's getting shallow. I'm like, this is why everyone's cleared out. And so there must have been an hour or so where it got too shallow for everyone, and I just continued to surf. But
made the most of it.
Yeah, look,
Epic.
I thought that, as you know, you go and paddle out in a different country, and you're like, oh, how are people going to take to... I'm the only guy speaking English out there. No, it's quite good. Like, you just normal sort of thing. You paddle out and you wait your turn, and
more welcoming than my recent surfs at Point Lonsdale.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. So no, the waves were really good. I think I'll be back there later this year for a couple of weeks. But have you guys ever been to Tahiti?
No.
It was a really cool place. Like, the food was amazing. Like, the food was so good. So much seafood. The hospitality was incredible as well. Like,
how's your French?
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Murky beaucoup?
Yeah. Murky beaucoup. Yep. But
that's what that means.
Je suis désolé, monsieur et mademoiselle.
Le moi moi. But where I was going, like, I was traveling to a different island for work each day, and we were catching the ferry. The very first day we caught the ferry, like that. I remember reading the weather report, and I think they had 140 mil of rain that day. Like, it was intense.
Moist.
And
Stop looking me in the eye. I keep telling you.
We're on this ferry, and there's just like it's 18 k's between the two islands, and this
Like
ferry's
big
like
troughs?
big troughs, and like there's people throwing up all over the boat.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty grim, but no, really cool place. Waves were really good.
Were you on the hull with your arms wide?
I didn't have you or Shane there.
Oh yeah, sorry, mate.
And it was a catamaran. We needed like groups of people. But no, awesome place.
One thing we should mention, we're recording on a Wednesday night. Cyclone Alfred's about to hit Goldie.
Yep. It's going ham.
There's a bit going on up there. We've got some friends that are sort of in the firing line up there, so hopefully.
Thoughts and prayers. Stay safe, especially all those guys out on the northern rivers. Yeah, I mean, I guess whenever one of those cyclones or, storm events kind of comes close to the coast, everyone's on high alert, panic shopping,
Up there, yeah.
especially at the bottle shops. That's the most important thing you need to take care of if you're going to lock yourself down.
Well,
Did anyone see the sandbags that they were handing out?
No.
They were terrible. They look like those money bags you used to see on like DuckTales. They look like they contained about 5 kilos of sand.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
oh, you were just talking about
Budget cuts.
you were talking about going to the bottle before a cyclone. When I worked in Western Australia, and there's a few crew on here that'll attest to this, but when a cyclone would come through and you'd have to go and get locked down in your accommodation, and all I remember about those, we'd have cyclone parties, and you'd just go down to the bottle and get the old...
We'll stock up on cases and Vaseline.
yeah, so you'd get the... you'd get the old bush chooks, mate, the old Emu Export.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so you'd get 30 can blocks of Emu Export, and she'd turn pretty pear-shaped.
Anyway, enough about you, Watto. Shano,
Yes,
you've been busy.
I have.
Big start to the year.
A road trip?
Yeah. Well, what's that, like your 50th East Coast road trip?
It's fun, yeah. Had a ball.
Are you do it like we're coming up to election time? I feel like are you just
Am I
you're
touring? Just
you're man of the people, man of the people,
He's kissing babies.
kissing babies,
Wow.
Yeah.
kicking soccer balls.
I think his road trip frequency's gotten he's
Join it.
you,
Trips to
you're getting
road.
more and more because you've upgraded from the old iLoad, mate.
I have.
And you're in the
It's a dream, the new high ace.
in the
one
Who
Shane.
knew?
yeah. Who knew replacing a 20-year-old car would be a good idea?
That's it.
Mate, you
But yeah,
can't
cruise
talk.
up to Byron. The
Yep.
old man was turning 75. As we know, they go up there for 2 months a year and live nude up there at Byron. And
That's the dream.
that is the dream.
That's the
they are
dream.
living the dream.
Cliffy hasn't messaged me and asked if I could come up yet.
Didn't send you a photo.
No.
Little Snapchat. Went up there, cruise up there, solo in the van, surf tallows every day. Went into sort of Yamba and Gowrie.
Barefoot.
Yes, I
Mostly.
won't talk about all the breaks around there because we got some. All
East
the
Coast
phone
crew.
crews are up there. We won't sort of spoil their sort of little area. Port Mac, Foster,
You really
had a ball.
how many handshakes took place during this trip?
And Shandy.
No,
Yes.
no, not to be mistaken with
Yeah.
the shandy. The handshakes, genuine handshakes.
I kiss no babies. I promise.
Oh dear.
Yeah, okay.
This is going to segue into one of these working
Hey,
with.
you've been living a dream,
How so?
living on a yacht,
I am.
on and dropping names. Michael Hutchins' old yacht. You're living on it right now.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. It's
You are a bachelor living on a yacht.
mate. I'm currently living on a 110-foot super yacht
Wow.
on dry dock.
Scraping barnacles.
You know me, mate. I am the most spontaneous person when it comes to doing shit. It's a long story, but basically, one of my good mates that I grew up with lives in Thailand. He's been there for almost 10 years now. He kind of comes home every couple of years to just work his ass off for like 3-4 months. He's a chef and a really good chef. So he's been down in Lorne over the summer, just, in a kitchen, making bank, but the work dried up a bit sooner than he thought. And he's like, fuck, I need to make a little bit more money before I go back home. And I just, trolling the internet, found this random, Facebook post for a guy looking for some labourers to help finish restoration and maintenance work on a super yacht down here in Queenscliff, basically other side of the bay from you guys. So I sent it to him and he said, oh man, sounds really good, but look, I don't have a car. He lives in Thailand, doesn't have a car. My work's actually a little bit quiet at the moment. So I was like, fuck it. Like, if you go, I'll go. Yeah, so lo and behold, within about 45 minutes of shooting this boat dude a message, yeah, he's like, cool, see you guys next week. And that's what we're doing for last couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's hard work.
So what are you doing? Checking the structural integrity of door handles?
Yeah. We're at a really good stage at the moment. Obviously, yeah, removing anti-foul from a boat is one of the worst things I've ever done of my life. I got so sick.
What is it called? Sorry,
anti-foul. So it's basically a chemical compound that you put on the underside of a boat, right?
Right.
As in the section of the boat that remains under the water.
Yeah.
It prevents it from mold. It's kind of like this waterproof membrane.
So like mold that tries to prevent barnacles and shit growing on it.
Yeah.
Because the more shit that is on that surface, the slower the boat goes and the more fuel you use.
Remember another fantastic chemical called asbestos?
Yes.
Very similar.
Oh god.
Yeah, for the life of me, I can't understand how this shit is still fucking legal.
Yeah.
But whether you're putting it on or removing it, it is so fibrous. It's worse than fiberglass. It gets in your skin and it fucking burns.
Wow.
So regardless of the PPE you wear, like I was in.
So you're full suit.
Mate, I'm full suit.
Yeah.
Like goggles, twin respirator, earmuffs, and then face shield. But this shit just finds a way into your body.
Fuck.
And yeah, the first day that I was essentially grinding off a whole bunch of anti-foul from the rear deck, I felt like I was on fire. And then I went and had a shower after work, went out to dinner with a mate, came home, went to bed, and I've never been in that kind of pain before, to the point where I was like banging my head against a wall. Like I was in that mindset where I felt like I needed to knock myself out to go to sleep.
Wow.
So I got to the point, it was like 2:00 in the morning, that I called like 000 and said, what the fuck do I do here? Like I'm on fire. Like I'm short of breath. Like it got in my throat and everything. Yeah, but it's so funny. They said, oh, do you have access to like a microfiber cloth? And I said, yeah, they're fucking everywhere. He's like, go and put one under cold water and rub your whole body down with it. So A, the cold water will compress your pores.
Yep.
B, the microfiber cloth will collect a shitload of the...
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Well,
and within 15 minutes.
You're okay.
Okay. Went to sleep.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a pretty crazy project. I guess the end product's going to be really cool. The owner had a pretty unrealistic deadline, which we're not going to meet. So
that's pretty normal for pleasure craft boats.
Yeah. So I could be down there a little bit longer than anticipated.
Right. On top of that, you've had some fun though. Sri Lanka?
Yeah. Yep. Bit of an impromptu trip to Sri Lanka recently with my dad and my brother. To go watch Australia play Sri Lanka in a test.
Yep.
Which was amazing. Timing wasn't ideal. My grandmother, which is my dad's mum, passed away a couple of days before that happened, so it was kind of weird. But yeah, also felt like the right thing to do at the same time. Holy shit, what a fucking beautiful country. And coastline riddled with waves. Like I stayed in Galle, which is kind of like south of Colombo, capital city, and there were waves everywhere.
Yeah.
Like novelty waves around Galle, but if you go north, south, just these great little fun reef breaks. And it's funny, like there were surf schools everywhere, but they're just surfing like, 1 foot beaches in these big open bays. But no one was surfing any of these reef breaks. I randomly ran into my old housemate, Ryan Williams, which was pretty cool at the cricket one day, and we caught up for some beers. He'd been staying down the coast and sent me some videos of him and his mate surfing. It looked amazing.
Oh.
Amazing. But yeah, great food, great people, weather, like, holy shit, that was fucking hot. I mean, like, I used to live in the South Pacific.
Yep.
Like, I can handle the South Pacific. That was, like, obviously Sri Lanka's a hell of a lot closer to the equator. That was mind-boggling, like, especially sitting at the cricket for 4 days in just still heat. Madness. But can't wait to go back again.
Did you hydrate with a couple of amber cordials
You'd think so.
or sparkling
It's
Merlot?
probably one of the negatives from the trip, mate. The beer was fucking terrible.
Really?
Some of the worst beer I've ever had in my life. Like the local beer called Lion.
Lion's okay.
No, see, I'll tell you what my theory is on this. You know when like beer's brewed and then it's not put in cold storage?
Yep.
In a place like that where it's subtropical, I don't think they store the beer in cold storage until they need to use it. So I think the beer's like...
It's like Carlton Draft if you drink it in WA.
I think it's like over fermented.
Yeah.
So even when it's chilled, like really chilled, it just has that kind of clicky taste, and it just didn't sit well. Like at the cricket, I think we had like 2 beers a day. Just couldn't stomach it. It was pretty bad. Yeah. But apart from that, epic. IBC World Tour announcements. Seedings are released. The tour schedules was released. There was a pretty long kind of bio speech by the IBC about kind of 2025 and beyond, which was kind of positive, right? Like they said that here's what we're doing, here's what we want to achieve. We've listened to the feedback from, our supporters and our riders, etc. That they want to be inclusive and they want to expand. Because I guess, the general consensus about the current IBC structure is that it's not really a world tour because it doesn't have some of the world-class events that have historically been there, such as, Pipe, Shark Island, etc., etc. However, myself and Watto had a really good chat about this and thought, wow, this is great because a few years back, Watto and I also had a phone conference with
previous discussion with him.
With a representative of the IBC, and for the life of me, I can't remember his name. This representative at the time, and I know Shane, you've asked me to elaborate on this, so I'll do this now. This representative wasn't even a board member or a committee member; he was merely a spokesperson, right, Chris?
Yep.
That's what he presented himself as, a spokesperson. At the time, he refused to identify who the board were for the IBC. The board wanted to remain anonymous, which to me set off some red flags. But his explanation was that...
So you guys had a discussion.
A 2.5 hour discussion. Yeah.
2 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yep. And you guys were keen on running an event here in Australia?
Yep. That's correct.
So you contacted them?
Yes.
And then you got contacted by
a representative,
a spokesperson that wasn't a board member, wasn't anything to do with running events?
He was acting on behalf of the board.
Right.
That's correct.
Can you identify him? Or
I off the top of my head, I can't remember his name.
Yep.
He was a lovely chap.
Yep.
He was from Chile.
Yep.
He was quite handsome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a handsome man.
He's good looking.
Yeah.
I'll give you that much.
Okay.
Important.
Essentially what we wanted to know is back then, like, what are they trying to do? Because, we want the world tour to be a world tour. We wanted to be involved. We wanted to have essentially someone from Australia sit on that board. We essentially wanted to be very open and very neutral. However, he made it very clear that under no circumstances did they envision that in the immediate future. They wanted to work with what they had and they wanted to focus on what they could do. However, if someone from a country such as Australia or America wanted to run an event, they would have to pay an upfront sanction fee.
Right. And how much was that?
Are you ready for this? $150,000 US.
Was the sanction fee?
That is the sanction. That's not the operational fee.
No.
No,
That was the sanction fee.
that's correct. Look,
That's not prize money.
Absolutely not.
You're joking.
No. But wait,
There's still
there's
more.
more.
Okay.
On top of that, as part of this fantastic deal, you would also have to provide accommodation, catering, and logistical support for all event staff, all event riders, and some other bullshit.
Yeah.
So basically, you put that into a sum. I don't even know what the US dollar is at the moment compared to Aussie.
It's 62 cents.
You would know.
Yes.
So let's just call it 50, right?
Yep.
So
No, 60. Call it 60.
yeah, my math's not that good.
Yeah.
So 150 US, K.
Yeah.
We're looking at just shy of what, 300K.
Yeah.
Plus expenses, plus prize money, but with no control over the event.
So everyone out there has been wondering why we can't have an event in Australia.
That is sanctioned by the IBC.
Yeah.
And there was a few other comments made around we'd have to choose the appropriate people to do the event, the appropriate people to run it in Australia. And, there was the other comments, and I think I've mentioned this before, but it's like, you just make sure you got enough money for the open division, like the open men's, you pay the women less, things like that. No.
Yeah, which we didn't, it didn't sit well with us.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because you're on Surfing Vic board.
Yep.
And there is a rule in place, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%.
In Australia,
Can
there
you,
is.
can you explain that about?
So the rule is that any time you have a men's and women's division
With prize money.
with prize money, it has to be equal prize money.
And that's an Australia-wide.
Yep.
Rule. Yep.
But like,
Were you guys supplied like documentation beforehand or after? Or
Bam,
nothing.
bam.
not even a
No.
not even a note
So
in
not a
crayon.
handbook or anything.
No.
What their expectations are.
No. So this wonderful representative / spokesperson of the IBC was very firm in refusing to release any information from, relative to the IBC. Obviously, the most.
Why would that be? Because they're trying, they're selling it, and they're selling it for $150,000 for an event.
I think what we have to be, careful with in this conversation is this was almost 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
It may have changed, but the big one that we asked for was an operational budget. We basically asked for a spreadsheet so we could see the breakdown of what the cost of the event was.
Yeah, in terms of prize money,
Everything.
cameras.
Yeah, like
Charges.
what's their event checklist?
Yes.
We asked for essentially a checklist, but also a copy of the P&L.
Yep.
For those events that they had successfully completed. Hard no. Absolutely not. Under
what
no
reason?
circumstance. Just no. There wasn't an elaboration on that. It was just no.
That's common sense, but you need to know exactly what their expectations are.
Of course, it's common sense, but also for us, and I'm trying to be positive about this, right?
Yeah.
But to me, that raises red flags. If you're not providing someone with information, then to me, it just seems fucking sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, 150 grand. Where does it go? What does it do? What, all that sort of information. In
the words of Fergie, we're flying first class.
But there was an even conversation about making sure there was accommodation available for anyone that wasn't covered at what they said, $50 a night is the expectation. And
Accommodation at $50 a night.
And me and Benny are like, you've probably got the bus stop.
Yeah.
yeah, that's about 75 these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So look,
Or camping in my van at Byron, $101 for a powered site.
no,
Yep.
It's the same at Queenscliff.
no way.
$101.
You'd want a hand shandy in a dunny. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whew.
Anyway, that's that.
Yeah. Well, in saying that, that kind of shows why all the events are where they are.
Touche. I guess my final little 2 cents on this, is that since that post where they said, we want to hear from you,
Yes.
obviously
Did they hear from you?
yes, I did.
Did they?
Yep. And I did use ChatGPT to really like sass up my email.
He's like, hi, you may know me for such podcasts as The Closeout. Oh, wait, I've checked the stats. No one in South America listens to this podcast.
Unfortunately, no response.
So you've sent an official email to the IBC
Correct.
showing that your interest in
Yes.
holding an event in Australia.
Yes.
And how long's it been since you've had no response?
Oh, it'll be a month now.
Really?
And I've got like backup sources of this, right? The evidence that I have sent this, that like Watto and I are involved in this Australian kind of bodyboarding representatives chat group on Facebook. Like Watto and I actually went to them first just to ask a bit of feedback from that group before we contacted them. So like it's done. So if IBC are going to say, well, we didn't hear from him, bullshit. They've got the fucking memo.
Good day, sir.
Maybe they have listened to this podcast.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
They're using a VPN. My question to you guys is, I think it was last year, the IBC released a calendar, right? And it had
Huge.
bazillion events, and then they, one by one, they offed them throughout the year.
Yeah.
Do you reckon this year's going to be the same?
They've already off. There's events that aren't on the tour this year, like I think the Maldives isn't on there, is it?
Well, it was and then it wasn't. Yeah. Anyway, is there anything that you're excited about for the tour? Are there like...
No.
It's hard no from you.
Hard no.
It's a pass.
Yeah.
Watto?
No, really. Probably the only thing, if the Australians get involved, I will pay attention. But
Not just the Australians, the Aussies, the Americans,
Yeah.
like
America.
need, like at the moment, top 16, I'm looking at the list. Some great riders on there, so I'm not...
Turn to
Not
page
riders,
3 of our report.
It's Spain, France, Brazil, France, Chile, Brazil, France, Chile, Spain, France, Brazil, France, Morocco, and Tristan Roberts is the
Do you know who
South African.
you know who I don't see on here?
There's lots.
Waleed Zah.
Oh, he's not-
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Where is Waleed?
What happened? Have we influenced his exit from social media?
Is he not around?
He's gone.
I like the way you.
Sharks keeps bringing him up.
I like the way you search for his name, and our podcast comes up as like the second result. That's you,
We've
Benny.
legitimised him. Benny legitimised him.
I'm not going to give you any more airspace. I'm going to ask you one question. We're looking at the top 16
Yes.
for the men, the IBC in 2025. Amide is obviously the defending champ. PLC was a bridesmaid last year. In his defence, he didn't compete at a great deal of events.
Amide was
Mate,
just
full
competed at Hawaii, so
yeah, full credit to it, mate. He rips.
yeah,
He rips.
he does.
Who's your hot tip for 2025? Why is there such a long pause? When
I'm just reading through. There's 16 names here, mate. I'm just reading through.
I'll take a number 6.
You going to the Maury?
Maori.
Yeah,
Really?
I don't know.
Okay. Based on the calendar for 2025, which again, majority South America, I'm going to go with Amide back to back.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, full props. Yeah, definitely the most deserving guy to win the title last year, and I think he's just going to continue that momentum in 2025. And like, what a feel good story that would be! Like, it's been a long time since someone's gone back to back, and now you're looking at me, Shane.
Just trying to recall last time I saw back to back. That's all.
Wow. Wow.
See you in Sydney this weekend, big boy.
You blokes aren't really going for an AFL game, are you?
What's AFL?
You were supposed to go last weekend, weren't you?
Speaking of events, been a bit of a wobbly start for us here at Bodyboarding Vic. Obviously, all intentions to run a really big Triple Crown series, with the first one scheduled for 13th Beach a few weeks back. Second one coming up next weekend in the Mornington Peninsula. and then the third at Phillip Island. However, due to some poor weather, we've had to postpone 13th Beach, which was round 1. And then due to some permit issues, we've had to do the old switch around, haven't we?
Do you know why we didn't get a permit for Phillip Island? Do you know what else is on
The Penguins.
No, there's 2 other events on that weekend.
The kneeboard.
The kneeboard, and the other one's the WSL.
Wuzzle.
Yeah, they'll go QS. Or a Chang'an. A qualifying series.
That kneeboard event's a great event.
Yeah,
it's a big historical event, isn't it?
but before we get into the BV stuff, that the Neil Luke kneeboard event's been going for 40 years.
Neil passed away earlier this year.
Yeah, couple of weeks before. So yeah, it'll be. I'd really like to go to the event, but we've got our event the same weekend. So yeah, no, they've run a really nice event there. It's quite good. 13th Beach. I think it was almost exactly 5 years since the last time we cancelled a comp, and ironically enough, it was 13th Beach
as well. Yeah,
it's one of those locations that when it's on, holy shit, it's one of the
magic waves.
One of the most beautiful beach breaks.
It's D-bar-esque in terms of its waves.
Yep. A-frames.
Yep.
All the way down the beach.
So when you're lucky, but it doesn't have the protection of D-bar.
No.
And yeah, on those open days, it's
that's one of the biggest curses of the Victorian coastline in general, right? Like, particularly the beachies.
Yep.
They're not kind of tucked into a cove or surrounded by breakwalls. Like, they are open beach.
Yep.
So a lot of water movement.
There was definitely a lot of water moving that day, and that wind was brutal.
Yep.
So 5 years ago, and I think it was the only event in 2020 that didn't get cancelled due to COVID. That was the last time we ran Triple Crown, and it was our last event at 13th Beach. And that day was horrendous. It was not one person.
I think there was about 50 people there, and your old man was running it, and he said,
"Who wants to serve?
Who wants to serve out there? Put your hand up." And
not one hand. So we went to the bakery, and we went to they had they'd won the national championships for like the world's best pie or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, really excited to go to Phillip Island this year, and we got permits for pretty much most of Phillip Island, which is really cool. I can't remember the last time we ran an event in Phillip Island.
I won't ask any of the breaks because
I don't know.
I don't know if I should say them on the body.
Yeah. You shut your mouth.
Whatever happens, happens.
And then the Peninsula will what's that? A week and a bit's time, week and a half.
I think good banks around. We just need the swell.
Yeah.
And big shout out to Eddie Wern.
Hello, Eddie.
Yeah, Big Eddie is an absolute stalwart in supporting this event here on the Peninsula. He's brought in a couple of his buddies as well, Store 360 and Dundas Street Milk Bar.
Do you know what Dundas Street Milk Bar is famous for?
Oh, the chips.
Milkshakes?
And gravy.
Chips and gravy, mate. And snitty burgers.
Get it in, yeah.
Snitty.
Yeah, chips. The old gravy train, mate. You can't go wrong.
I tell you what, they're going to do a roaring tray that day, aren't they?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure you have a snitty roll and a chips and gravy.
Shano and I are on the health train at the moment.
Yeah, so am I.
I can tell. I've
been riding my bike every day, and then I've just destroyed it by eating half a pizza.
But yeah, no, obviously, unfortunately, not the greatest start to our season. Not what we anticipated, but we're going to make it work. We're going to reschedule round 3. We put a bit of a poll out to our members about what we might do, whether we go back to a beach event or a pool event. I think the pool event's kind of a cool concept, especially with nationals being held at Urban Surf in Sydney this year. It might be a good kind of training opportunity for the crew. But watch this space.
Yep.
As we lock that in.
While we discuss that as well,
don't you point your finger at me.
The pool party. Is that happening again in 2025?
Absolutely, it is. The pool party.
Pew pew.
So we'll have the
DKS?
Pico's DKS on one side of the pool, and we'll have State of Origin round 2.
God, things are going to get ugly, aren't they?
Yeah. So we're going to start off with, we'll go surf for a couple of hours and then we'll tussle it out over
Fish versus SA again?
Yeah.
This is going to be like Darren Jarman v. Tony Lockett.
El Chapo digging a tunnel back.
El Japo, and then we'll talk about it over a couple of sparkling Merlots.
Do you reckon that what's his name? He used to bodyboard in South Oz. Dylan Beach. Do you reckon, he's going to come across this
he's getting
time?
his second marriage, mate. He's making sure you're not invited again.
Yeah, I think we gave him a little bit of a hard time about that when you're in South Oz.
He earned every bit of it, mate.
Yeah.
Every bit of it. You know, so much for him being a friend of the podcaster. What a joke.
Love you, Beachy.
But look, quick recap. Pool party last year, fucking sensational.
Yep.
One of the highlights for me in 2024, and absolutely cannot wait to see it unfold again. And yeah, I'm sure the South Oz boys are they're gonna bring some beef. I don't think they.
I think they're a little bit down about the fact they didn't take the concrete flipper home.
Yeah, but I mean, you saw it when we went over a couple of months later for the road trip, right?
Yeah.
How was the people that come out of the road with the woodwork, hey?
Yeah. So good stuff.
I had a little chat to El Japo on the phone the other day. He was like, I wish I wasn't surfing the comp. I wish I was surfing down the beach where you were. I was like, it was pretty good, mate.
We need to start fucking recruiting some of our Victorians back from Queensland for this event, I think.
True.
Benny, Tully.
Yeah,
Book your flights, boys.
The Taylor family.
Yeah. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Some bloody huge news, Shane, with obviously a number 6, the most infamous number 6 team rider of all time, Jacob Romero, purchased the phone company.
He did.
The institution in Hawaii. Aloha.
He actually tried to purchase it a couple of years ago when it was for sale.
Yep.
And another guy bought it because he couldn't get funding at the time. And now the guy, he knew Jacob wanted it, and he's come back to him and said, yep, I'm ready to sell, mate, if you can. And
how good's this?
taking it on.
That's cool.
He's got a lot going on in his life, the old Romero. He didn't surf in the pipe comp on the weekend because about to drop a little one, his missus. So it's all going on over in the Romero household.
Big papa.
Yes.
He's going to be a busy man, isn't he?
Oh, mate, that's so good, though. So good to have, again, core people in core shops.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like Wellesley. Next topic of conversation, I'm going to go right to the bottom here. This has gone from a positive to a negative. Shark migration and mitigation. You know, obviously the focus was on WA for such a long time. Now, all of a sudden, South Oz is just in the fucking newspaper every week.
And New South?
No, they just get cyclones.
No, they've had a fair few.
They've had a couple.
It's what's going wrong here, lads? Is it naturally? I think there's a growth in surfing numbers. I think more people are getting in the water, but I guess I love diving deep into the internet. You know,
it's not just surfers though; it's a lot of swimmers.
Yep.
It's,
people off boats and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. Like I was up at Byron, you're seeing people jumping in the pass every day, and they swim back to the surf club. You know, you see that at Merimbula, Eden. You know, pretty much every beach. You know, the whole East Coast.
But is
WA as well? But if you got to think, if people do that daily, that's their daily routine.
It's a statistic.
It's
increasing the chances.
You're going to have someone encounter a shark. It's just
is the core of this problem though the fishing industry, or is it environmental?
In what way would you blame the fishing industry?
Overfishing, fish farming, or do you look at environmental, where you now have a lot more protected fish species in Australia than we did 10, 20, 30 years ago? The most obvious is the great white shark. In the 80s and early 90s, they were king hunting prey.
Yeah, but they're following, whale migrations and
of course
everything as well.
Do you think also
The water's warm.
The water is getting warmer as it.
Like, we haven't had the water this warm in Victoria ever.
Yeah.
Surfing in March in Victoria and board shorts
I'm wearing
is bananas.
Yeah, springy at this time of year in
Yeah.
March. Like, I don't think I've ever done that.
Mate, I was cooking at dawn this morning in a lot of very holy
Pair of
long-
jocks.
He's since been removed from that beach.
I set that up for you perfectly, didn't I, mate?
Hook, line, and sinker.
But no, mate, I've got an absolute like rundown long sleeve spring, and I was cooking, absolutely cooking. What do we do here? What's our takeaway?
Between the three of us, not much.
We're in Victoria.
No sharks, remember, according to your
No sharks here.
scientific friend you spoke to once upon a
Don't
time.
ask, mate. You don't ask.
Don't
Don't ask, don't tell.
ask us. Yeah. I mean, what's your advice for people having a discussion about going on a surf trip to South Oz? For now, would you just say maybe not? Obviously, locals are still going to surf.
I guess. Like,
But do you think it was just a patch? Do you think it's going to stop for a while now, or do you think it's going to get worse?
one of those attacks, though, like there's a whole heap of, I'm not going to say warning, but there was a whole heap of sort of sightings before that happened. You know?
Well, there was one of the local fishermen put out on all the radios to all the other fishing boats to try and get a message back to the guys surfing that day to say, hey, can you let everyone know I've just seen a pretty fucking big shark hanging just off the back of the reef. Tell them to not go surfing. So they've essentially ignored the warnings, which isn't good.
But the other thing I always think about is, and people always say to you, like, people that aren't surfers or aren't bodyboarders, they're always like, oh, aren't you scared of sharks when you go surfing? And you always sit there and think, you're like, well, at the end of the day, I'm entering their territory. Like,
That's very cliche of you, Chris.
is it?
Very cliche.
But I don't know. Like, you take precautions.
Shark eyes,
Shark eyes, you reckon?
maybe.
What about the things that go on the leg rope?
Are the vibrating things?
All that stuff was huge like 3-4 years ago, and you don't hear about it anymore.
I bought one of those shark bands.
Did you?
Yeah. But
I had a shark watch when I was in
Yeah,
Vegas.
they were sick, weren't they?
Yeah.
the fluoro,
Yeah, the fluid.
Yeah.
I don't think they had anything to do with sharks.
I didn't get bitten.
100% of
Prove
the
me wrong.
time, works all the
Prove me
time.
wrong.
Those shark bands that you put on your ankle, they looked very similar to my ankle bracelet.
I was going to
Prevents me
say,
from walking
does it
back.
match your other bracelet?
So I just felt heavy. No, they were so heavy. They just made no sense to wear.
It's like the leg rope one. If you've ever ridden a surfboard with a leg rope and you've got
They
more
partnered
weight-
with FCS, didn't they, to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Take it easy out there, folks. Stay away from sharks.
Wow, how's
That's
the
my only
piece of
takeaway.
advice?
I don't know what else to say.
Oh,
What have you got, Shade? Anything?
See,
Public service announcement,
Yeah.
Benny Oborn.
hi, my name's Benny Oborn.
Stay away from
And
sharks.
just stay away from sharks. And while you're
Sharks
at
and drugs.
it, don't lick batteries.
I never said that. Perfect segue. Shark Island Challenge news.
Yes.
Tell you what I'm excited about. Bolter Beer has come
Bolter
on as a
Beer.
sponsor. That's huge.
That gives
I
you a
love
reason to
Bolter
go.
Beer.
Bolter Cervezas.
Oh, si, senor. Gracias.
Stop it.
By the way, Ryan Jucker, where's my case of Bolter Beers, buddy?
Oh,
But some big announcements in terms of riders that have kind of locked himself in for the event this year. Sean Pine, Mickey Ostler's obviously back. CJ has got a call up, which is pretty cool. Reigning champ Benny Sawyer, fresh back from what did he finish? 10th pipe?
Yeah,
Or
he got
ninth?
up there. He was
got up there. He did well.
Yep.
Yep.
So pretty awesome after a seating of 90 something.
Yes.
Louis Finnegan and Johnny Scholl.
My understanding is all the finalists.
Yep.
Not just I think it's like the semi-finals on, are being invited back. So it'll just be interesting to see who they invite this year.
Let's be honest.
I know Romero's been invited because I was speaking to him today.
on the bodyboarding calendar, this is the one thing that we will watch the living daylights out of, and it was the same last year.
Yep, 100%.
Lukey, if you need a hand, we'd love to come up. We just want to be a part of it, mate.
You'll just open the bolters for everyone.
Yeah, we'll work the bar.
One for me.
We'll
one
work
for you.
the bar. I have been going back and forth with Lukey the last couple of days with a bit of a text. So I'll line up a little chat in the next day or so, just to give everyone a bit of an update. I'm pretty excited about that.
Perfect. They had their launch, I think, last weekend or the weekend before.
They're running a water trials this year as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's
It's a canola point, isn't it?
Don't know. Again, I don't want to speculate too much until I've had a good chat with Lukey, but yeah. In saying that, speaking of kind of catch-ups and interviews, going to be catching up with former world champion Damien King very soon. Have a bit of a post-Hawaii chat.
Forward promoting.
Maybe a little finance advice, talk about real estate, all that kind of
He'll
stuff.
throw money at you. He's like, make it rain for you.
Yeah, and look, we'll talk about pipe in a sec. But as we continue on the show reel of events, Lindsay Connolly DK Memorial on the sunny coast.
Yep, all coming up again this year.
Yeah. Which is obviously in memory of a good friend of ours, Dan Jones's brother.
Yes.
Speaking of Dan Jones, had a little bit of a run in lately, didn't he? Shano, can you fill us in on this, mate? Because you've got.
Well, I've heard it a couple of times, actually.
You've got buy-in on this.
It's not the first time I've heard about it, but over the years, the old word nomad has attracted the odd bikie's interest. And, Dan's got a sticker on the back of a nomad sticker on the back of his car, and he's had to put a note in text saying, "This is a bodyboard brand. I'm not affiliated." Because he keeps getting hassled by all the bikies up on the sunny coast, which sunny coast, there's a lot of bikies up there.
Yeah, right.
They like to do their thing. They like to do their thing up there. So, ask no questions, get no lies. But, he's had to put a little note on the back of his car that he's actually not affiliated with the
When
nomad.
you're talking about bikies, you're talking about like middle-aged men in lycra, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Like shows up at a coffee shop. And
The great nomads.
Yeah.
So does that mean that the little magical fairy that sticks nomad limited edition stickers everywhere on the sunny coast has a little note on the street sign that says, "This is not a bikie gang"?
Must be.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Another big kind of a local, Australian-based event that I was pretty intrigued about, the Snap Rocks Invitational. Hosted by GCBC. Unfortunately,
Cancelled for the weekend because of the swell.
Cancelled, postponed. Not too sure. Apparently due to Cyclone Alfred.
Yep.
I heard another rumour as to why it got canned, but I'm not going to speculate on that. I hope it still goes ahead. I mean, it would have been pretty epic if it went ahead.
This weekend.
Like, for those that haven't seen footage of Cyclone
It would have
Alfred,
been tough being a judge in the tent.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, have to start
You
picking
just
you down.
ratchet strap yourself to a tree. But, Gold Coast never disappoints in a cyclone swell, does it?
Just turns
Some of those clips of barrels. Oh my god,
Kira.
And how good's the drone angle that people are getting for barrels at the moment? Oh, so good.
But let's just be clear about one thing. Again, the stuff we see on social media from those cyclone smells
Cyclone smells.
are the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
You are not seeing the 300 other people that are just absolutely getting flogged.
I tend being stuck in the rip. And
I turned up at my old man's the other day, and he's got the webcam. He's got the cam of Superbank up, and he's like, "Look at this dickhead! Watch him paddle out." And then you watch old mate try and paddle through the keyway at Snapper, and then all of a sudden he's like 500 meters down the beach like that.
Mark and I were watching it yesterday, and no one was behind the reef at Snapper.
No.
Everyone was dragged across.
No, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
When it's that big, it doesn't work.
It was, so they're all right across, and they were just, getting dragged across really quick.
Yeah, but the reality is the guys that are absolutely scoring, those bombs
Have
are
a ski.
guys that are doing step-offs,
Yes.
right? So they're jumping off the ski at about 40, 50 clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got the speed. They've got the volume. They're
So-
going to make it.
I watched a clip of Jack Robbo and Joel
Yep.
Parko today, and those boys have it down pat.
In saying that, and one more little bit of credibility to the crew from GCBC, I'm guessing it was probably Dan Lation or Mitchy Curtin. One of those boys posted a classic POV shot from today.
Oh,
on
really?
the Boog, and it looked fucking mental.
Yeah, right.
So kudos to those boys.
It'd have to be one of those two.
Yeah. I mean, there's other guys that are absolutely competent out there, but they generally don't have GoPros.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt, Tooley would have been there just scoring. Have you spoken to Lackey?
No, I haven't.
No. He's been posting some stuff, but not from the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for those guys that are confident and, skilled
I
to...
spoke to Wellesley today too. He said the swell was good yesterday. It dropped off really quick
Yeah.
up on the sunny coast.
Hmm.
So
The aftermath of this storm's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
I saw some stuff from, I think, Morton Island, where there used to be kind of like army barracks on the beach. Due to all the swell and the tide, it's kind of resurfaced some of the old army structures that haven't been seen in like 50 years.
really,
Like these concrete bunkers.
yeah, right.
Looks, I mean, damaging for the environment, but pretty cool.
Was there somewhere up there they found like a, I don't know, some form of ornament, like a
Didn't a
military
missile show up on the beach?
missile or something like that show up up there?
like just north of Surfers last week.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say.
Fucking missile.
Right.
Oh, what's that, Dal?
Oh, don't go and lick it.
Jesus Christ. But we're going to talk more about the Hawaii Pipe Comp now. Great news. They've got the permit for 3 years.
Yes,
So
awesome.
this is epic. Absolutely epic. And if it's anything to go on from what just went down the last week, holy shit. How fucking good's that?
They killed it. Great event. What?
No, I have something to say, but I'm
Okay.
going to let you finish.
Well, I thought it was a great event.
It was a great event.
Yeah.
I have more great things to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm feeling a vibe here.
Oh, God.
I'm getting some tingling.
Tingly. I like it when you get
The old spidey senses.
The Viagra's kicking in, boys.
Oh, Jesus.
This is kind of going back on what we spoke about before with the IBC, right? They're
Yes.
doing their thing. They're clearly not fucking interested in connecting with the rest of the world. I think there's a really awesome opportunity for, I guess, the rest of the world outside of South America to build its own, call it a super tour, call it a triple crown, whatever you want. We've spoken about this so many times. Like, the key to success is to keep it simple, stupid, right? Start small, build on that. If we've got Pipe and we've got Shark Island, we're just going to find one more event, right? And then there's your 3 genuine World Tour events.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not sold?
I'm kind of happy with
Who's
these
this
separate
guy?
events. I think
Who's
they're
this guy?
well. I like the ideas of the invitationals.
No, I love them. I'm not opposed to them, but if there's going to be a greater opportunity to fight back about what's happening with the
I think
IBC.
you got to let these guys
Find their feet.
Lucky and the boys at the Shark Island comp. They had 1 year. They had some teething issues that they saw. You know, you got to let them run it 2-3 years. The Stoked guys in Hawaii, they got a 3-event tour planned. So Pipe was just the first, and they got 2 others throughout the year. So they've got an idea of what they want to sort of achieve as well. So I kind of think it's going to kind of let them go and run with it, you know.
Man, you really burst my bubble there.
I think the event was cool. Like, I really liked it. Probably one thing that, just a question to you guys, and it seems to be a common theme in some of the significant events apart from Shark Island. Do you think that it is...
I generally don't think much.
Yeah, we know. Do you think that the appropriate way to go for those events is to have a division that's so large? Like, do you
The
think...
seating.
Yeah,
It's
like
huge.
96 people in a draw. And the same with, like, you look at Fronton and some of those, and there's days and days and days. What are your thoughts on that? Because I personally would rather see a reduced draw and keep people interested and, like, engaged in it. Like, if I've got to watch that event start to finish and I'm watching 96 people surf, that's quite a long period of time.
Attention span
Yeah.
dissolves pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But, in saying that, it was still only a 2-day event. They got it done in 2 days. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we've watched,
But that was just
WSL
events.
comps and that. Yeah, it was, but, most WSL comps are, 3, 4 day?
Shane, stop yelling at me.
Wow.
Do better.
So, I don't know. I thought
But the WSL events have, like,
it was pretty interesting watching Pipe because there was so many old school guys and new school guys. I mean, a heap of local guys.
not
Some overseas guys. There's some world tour. There was some Aussies. There was.
It was a great
It was a
mix.
really good
It was
mix.
a great mix.
What did you think about when, like, someone was start stand up boogieing halfway through, like the
It kept it interesting, didn't it? Yeah.
it kept you on your toes? The one thing I will say, and it's we're always hypercritical of live streaming, but I think it was one of Benny Sawyer's heats. No, it was the heat with Tom Morrison, and he was leading up until the very end, and there was
Till 8 seconds to go.
and there was an exchange go down, and we didn't see one of the waves. And Kingy was commentating at the time. Kingy's like, "Can we bring that back for a replay?" And it was the highest scoring wave of that, like, whole heat.
Yep.
And we didn't see it.
That stuff just comes down to budget, though, doesn't
Yeah.
it? That they're easy.
There's limitations.
Yep.
and,
Yeah.
we've got to be understanding of that stuff, and it was still a pretty good.
You know why? They don't have Jennings.
Sir
They
Michael
needed
Sir
Jennings.
Michael.
They need a Jennings.
Yes.
Everyone needs a Jennings. It's best in the business. Best in the business.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the standouts of that event, shall we?
Yes.
First and foremost, who are you looking forward to coming into that? I'm a little bit biased here.
Who was I looking forward to throughout the whole event?
Yeah,
Tommy Morris.
so was I.
Yeah, me too.
Fucking love Tommy.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
waiting for it just to, seeing him make it to a few heats
Yeah, finished 13th.
was great
overall.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I was stoked for him.
And so,
And on top of that, he'd been really crook.
Yeah.
So he was.
He had food poisoning, didn't he?
He
Or was it
didn't
like a
actually
weird
say.
flu or virus?
I thought he had the flu.
Yeah.
But we'll text him
Tell you
back and
what.
forth, and he said, "I'm disappointed, but
Conspiracy theory.
did pretty
I
well.
think he was poisoned.
What?
Wow. Everyone knew he was going to do good. They're like, we're going to get to him.
who else were you excited to see?
Can I go first?
you go for it."
I was pretty excited about seeing Kingy. I really was.
I tell you what, Kingy's storytelling up to the event was absolutely epic.
Yeah.
I think the data that Kingy would have got alone from his own socials is going to help that pipe event big time. Like that, they can use that data to go back, to their investment portfolio and say, "Hey, look at the reach we had."
Yeah.
Like,
Look at this bloke, and he didn't even try and sell a house.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, him and both seem to be together the whole time, and then you got a bit of Mike in there as well.
Did anyone
and-
see that Kingy posted a photo today? It must have been after
Yeah,
party.
the flexing.
No, the gold chain.
Oh no,
Oh, Jesus. Holy shit. Like, I hate to say it, he hasn't lost it.
No?
personality, mate. People with personality. Be like yourself. You cover up your gold chains, but we know they're on.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to someone like Kingy coming back for an event like that, right? You kind of think, okay, well, he's that old generation, but I think it's pretty inspiring for also a new gen to look at that and go, holy shit, like he's still quite capable of getting it done. And he did. Like some of the shots he some of the waves he got into the free surf sessions leading up to the event were mind blowing. I think his first session out there, he said he was basically terrified, but one of the local boys just said, fuck it, go. And then once he got that first wave, it all kind of came flooding back and he just got his groove on.
Yeah.
I think I was also excited, as you said, like some of the older names in the draw and the old Hubbards. Will they ever age?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, on top of that, you look at this. I'm just having a flick right now.
I want
You're having a flick
And you look at the quarters.
in the lounge room.
The
Wow.
quarters.
You've got company.
It's only us.
Kainoa.
Yeah,
Made it to the
Canoa McGee
quarters.
made it to the quarters.
And Chris Burkhardt, like two old school guys making it to the, that's interesting. It's like having Kelly in the WSL. Like people like my age want to see those people.
I'd actually love to chat to Chris Burkhardt. Like, I'd love to know how often he actually gets out on the boog these days. Like, he's an incredibly successful photographer, writer, journalist, storyteller, documentarian. Where's he finding the time? Like, and he lives in the US. Like, where's he finding the time
Did you
to get out a pipe?
Yeah.
And practice that craft? Like, full credit. In saying that, you go.
Did you also see who else was in the draw? Jamie O'Brien
Yeah, but
didn't make it past the first round.
That's all right. It
Which-
still brought some eyes to the comp. So
To your point about Kelly Slater,
they got
like,
96 guys in the comp. They can afford to put JAB.
I
bring
thought it
some
was
eyes.
good. I thought
And
it
it
was,
appeases some people as well. So why not?
I actually thought it was quite good that he was in there. Would have liked to see him go further because he's pretty good on the book. But no, it was really cool to see like
It's nice.
Spencer Skipper or
Yeah.
Kingy talking to Ronk. And how many of us like watch the No Friends and all that sort of stuff and brought back a few memories.
Yeah. But you look at through, those quarters in particular, like Tanner's in there, Kainoa, Matt Crilly, who's a Hawaiian local, Sammy Morantino, like he was killing it through pretty much the whole event.
Oh, he was
So,
shredding.
Yeah. Did one huge invert out onto the flats that was
Yeah.
huge. Dub, Benny Sawyer, it's Moises Silva. So, like, there's some good names in there and a good diversity.
Yeah.
So, makes the event interesting.
Shout out to the Aussies that all made it pretty far through the draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see.
cannot wait to see it come back again for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 2 years. That's sensational. Also, obviously, shout out to all the guys and girls that went all the way through to the finals. Dave Hubb obviously took out the men's, Sammy Morantino in second, Matt Crilly,
Yeah.
third, and Alfonso David Aguila Contreras. Did I say it right?
You said it, I did.
Sure.
In fourth. In first, Ayaka Suzuki Crilly. So Mrs.
Mrs.
Crilly. Yep. Crilly? Shit. In first, Teresa Miranda. Second, Valentina Diaz Langdon. Third, and Carla Costa in fourth. Well done, ladies. Michael Yance took out juniors. Tayden Salinas in second. Nash Burkhardt. Yep.
Nash Burkhardt made it a fair way through the open draw too.
Right.
And Kyle Chambers in fourth.
He was in that same heat with Tommy Morris.
Yeah.
But it was good seeing pump and waves as well.
Yeah.
They've been unlucky on the second day
The wind.
with the onshore.
Yes.
But, it was pumping in the morning.
Keep up the good work.
Good work, guys. So stoked.
What's hot? What's not, Shano?
Pipe. Like, have them pipe back. They got 3 years.
Wood.
I can't ask for more.
Can we go to Pipe next year?
Close out.
Can we go on tour?
The closeout tour.
Can we, please? Shane?
Are we there yet?
Please.
I think we need
Can we
four.
go?
We need 4 listeners for that.
I'll buy the listener.
Yeah.
Come on.
But to me, pipe, like, at the moment, right now. How about yourself?
What's hot? Victorian summer.
Yeah.
Absolutely cooking.
The dream.
Love it. Yeah, that's what's hot for me.
Are we talking in general or specifically to bodyboarding?
Whatever you want, mate.
Worried what you might say there.
What's hot? Shane Britton's rendition of "My Heart Will Go On" in the car park of Sorrento Back Beach tonight, while a lady was playing keyboard.
We drove down to check for a surf check. This lady's playing piano in the middle of the car.
I think we have to put that up on our socials.
That might go up.
Yeah. What's not, Shano?
Oh, what's not? We're going to have to go the reverse. The IBC.
Okay.
Not a lot of interest.
Okay.
And hearing some of the comments you made tonight, which is all new to me.
Yeah.
It's a bit going on.
And I think that's going to continue for a while.
Yep.
What's not for me, although there's, some positive to this topic, but what's not is Cyclone Alfred.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's pretty obvious. I've just said obviously. I promised myself I was going to stop saying this.
Obviously, you're going to keep saying obviously.
Shut up.
Obs.
There's going to be a fair bit of damage that this little storm's going to do to the kind of southeast Queensland region. We have a lot of friends.
Yeah,
up there. A lot of friends. People we consider our family up there. The last thing we want is those guys and girls and families to.
And this will come out a couple of weeks after, but
yeah. So thoughts are with all of the crew up in Queensland. I mean, the positive out of that is they've been getting some good waves, and at the back end of that storm, as historically it does, it generally gets better.
Yep. A bit browner, but better.
Yeah. Good mate of mine, Richie Chileppi, sent me some shots that he took down at the wreck.
Oh, yeah. Byron.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Holy fuck. He's at like 6 foot.
Yeah.
Not that many guys out.
I was wondering how it was, and I text my olds, and
yeah,
they saw it coming and they bailed, so they got back last night.
The photos, they're so wide.
Yeah.
Mostly closeouts, generally, as it is at the wreck. And Richie said he was like yelling at guys to go, but they were all just like
no
pulling back and not going. He said he got a bit of karma though, as he said getting out was like super easy. Like the current, the sweep just like takes you out.
Yeah.
He said getting in was fucking terrifying.
Right.
And yeah, he just got absolutely obliterated by summers. You're swimming your ass off. You think you're in a good spot, and then it just drags you back just in that detonation point. 6 foot exploding in like 3 foot of rock solid sand.
Yeah.
It's paid its due with some good shots. So yeah, that's my what's not. What about you, Watto? Interest rates?
I think I'm with Shano on the IBC front. I'm not excited by it. It's not something I want to watch. It's not something I want to really follow unless it's the Aussie boys in there.
Yeah. When you've got Pipe and Shark Island to look forward to, it's hard to get excited about something.
I don't know. Not engaged into it. Like I've watched all the WSL stuff. More than happy to do that. And I think there was an event on earlier this year as well that was on the same time as the WSL, wasn't
the IBC event, yeah.
Yeah, Morocco.
Morocco, yeah.
Yeah. Shows how much
It's not already run.
Yeah, it's done.
And it's not on our run sheet to talk about.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even aware it run.
So we're doing well because I watched the WSL instead.
Yeah.
So I found that more interesting. And
sorry about that to all our listeners that we haven't discussed it, but I wasn't even aware it ran.
Yeah. I'm not overly...
All three of you.
Yeah. No, we're down
you can check out the highlights on YouTube.
Oh, can you?
Okay.
Yep, they're there.
Of the closeout, or
no, of the
I'll go for about 8 seconds
of the Morocco event,
and it's the intro.
Yuri Valadeo won Morocco, and Namika Yamashita won the women's.
Who was the top 3 in the men's? Just out of interest.
Yeah,
just to make you really Google. Look at him, he's stressing. He's sweating right now. Look at him.
Waleed's
I hope it's been updated. PLC.
Second.
Yeah, and this is going to test me with my pronunciation.
You didn't even say pronunciation right,
I'm
mate.
stressed. A Moroccan came third. Chajri Badar Adini.
Okay, yep. Hold on.
Gabriel Braga come fourth.
Okay.
Though. Oh, equal third, actually. And in the women's, tick-tock.
Loading music insert here.
Alexander Reiner
Ah.
came second.
Is she the chick that does the like huge flips?
No.
The one that
You might.
the one on Insta that's like always surfing the wedge.
No, that's who's the one that went on the Riptide trip with Jennings that time? It's not Alexander Reiner, is it? But Johanna Schenker came third.
Okay. Congratulations to all.
Well done. Well done. Is that about it, lads?
I think so.
All right. Well, once again, thanks to all our fans and
Our 3 listeners.
It's fan. Fans.
it's actually
Fans makes it sound like there's a collective.
it's a ceiling fan.
Yes, it's a ceiling fan.
But please, for everyone listening, we beg you,
like
and subscribe,
follow socials,
share, follow us on all the platforms.
get all the extra videos on socials.
Shane's on TikTok. Watto's feet are on OnlyFans. We're going to pay for this thing somehow. But big news coming up. We spoke about this late last year. We are going to start doing state news. We've locked in a couple of...
So we're ripping off Riptide back in the 90s. So doing state news.
Absolutely plagiarising.
Okay.
Not only are we stealing
We've
that.
already done what's hot, what's not.
Yeah, the barometer.
The barometer. We're now doing state news.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yep, so got a couple of good people locked in for a couple of states. We're just currently going through the interview process for New South Wales.
Casting couch is open.
Yeah.
If you'd like to send your resume, please address it to
Video
Shane
diary
Britton's,
for
Shane
Benny
Britton's
O'Boy.
Toyota Hiace. So watch this space. Once again, big shout out to all the crew that make the potty happen. Sir Michael Jennings, we fucking love you, mate. Rob Porteous for all his musical genius. Sammy Watson, wherever you are. And Mark.
Near, far.
Yeah.
And Mark Britton. Really appreciate you opening and responding to all our fan mail.
And we also appreciate you with the technical support for Shane Britton. Like, maybe you could teach him to put an SD card
Hey,
in
I have
something.
an email. How do I
while
open
we're saying
it?
that, actually, I'm just going to put a shout out to our friend Britt Kennedy, who we recorded a podcast for, and I'm going to sincerely apologise here on the potty. We lost the episode.
Hang on a minute.
I didn't.
You lost the episode.
Let's be honest. Mark Britton lost the episode.
You can't. You
Shout out
honestly,
to Mark.
you can't make this shit up, can you?
No, I can't.
This is the most fucking bizarre
Yep.
story ever.
But I'm not going to even repeat it on the potty here. It's done, it's dusted, and I apologise, Britt.
Whoever received a mystery SD card in the mail, would really appreciate it if you send it back.
if you got it. Jesus.
All right. Until next time. Well done, team.
Bye.
Bye.